She's looking at her phone again. It's not just anxiety, it's the effect of feeling like she doesn't have to respond. Until yesterday you were predictable, easy to read, always ready to give attention. Now something has changed. You no longer chase, you no longer make yourself available at any cost. And at that very moment, she feels the weight of the void left by your intentional absence. Until last week, she believed she had complete control over your attention. For her, an emoji or a hi was all it took to have you in the palm of her hand. But when you stopped responding immediately, a subtle unease set in. What was once a certainty became doubt. And now the thought gnaws at her. Are you no longer part of her game? That's when the desire begins to grow. Most men live thinking they need to prove how much they want a woman to be truly loved. It's the invisible script society delivers. Show interest, do everything, never let her wait. But this constant effort only reveals insecurity, not value. Deep down, the more you chase, the more you reinforce that nothing better is happening. And this, sooner or later, kills the mystery. They chase, please change who they are, just to keep her interest alive. They give up their own boundaries, forget friends, hobbies, and even values, believing that this way they will finally be chosen. But the more they try to fit into what she wants, the more they lose their own essence. And paradoxically, the more they nullify themselves, the less she sees value in what they offer. But the truth is brutal. The more you need someone, the less she wants you. Female desire isn't born from the need for someone else, but from the freedom you convey. When she realizes you're doing everything you can to keep her, she feels like she's already won the game. And when the game gets too easy, it loses its charm. It's painful to accept, but scarcity is what creates value. The less you show need, the more she misses you, the more she thinks about you. The mystery begins when you disappear for a while, return to your life, and occupy your own space. It's in this emptiness that her interest grows, because now she needs to imagine what's going on. Her mind works tirelessly, trying to decipher you, and the less certain she is, the stronger the attraction becomes. This is the paradox of attraction. When you're always there, you become invisible. Constant presence makes you lose the value of the rare, the hard to conquer. But when you have your own life, goals, and interests that don't revolve around her, you become an obsession. She begins to see you as unique, not at the disposal of just anyone. That's where true masculine power is born. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, you'll understand the hidden code that transforms any ordinary man into an addictive presence. What I'm about to show you isn't empty theory, but a truth confirmed by psychology and the experience of those who've lived both sides. Prepare to question everything you've been taught about desire and approval. Ready to see yourself differently? The journey begins now. Female desire is fueled by challenge, not certainty. What truly sparks interest isn't what she has in her grasp, but what she still needs to conquer. When everything becomes predictable, the mind loses its charm. Behind every attraction lies doubt, suspense, and the question, is he really mine? It's in the realm of the unpredictable that passion blossoms. When you're always available, she feels like she's already won and begins to seek stimulation elsewhere. The human brain by nature rejects what's effortlessly delivered. If you never set limits, never say no, everything loses its unique flavor. She realizes she doesn't need to do anything to keep you there. And at that moment, curiosity and desire slowly begin to die. Psychology and nature. Everything achieved effortlessly soon loses its luster. This is true with gifts, easy victories, and even with people. The brain is programmed to value what challenges you, what demands emotional investment. When it realizes you won't give in for just anything, interest remains. What comes easy, goes easy, and desire can't resist boredom. A man who values himself, who doesn't do everything to please, becomes a rare experience. He doesn't bend to every whim, doesn't accept emotional crumbs, and isn't always available. His presence carries a different weight. She feels she's in the presence of someone who can't be easily conquered. It's this sense of exclusivity that transforms admiration into genuine desire. Women are attracted to what they can't completely control. It's instinctive, not rational. Mystery, unpredictability, and a slight sense of uncertainty create a kind of silent magnetism. When she realizes she doesn't have complete control over you, her interest increases almost automatically. It's not a game, but human nature. What slips through the cracks always seems more valuable. Therefore, the nicest men are the ones who suffer the most rejection, while those who care the least become objects of desire. Excessive availability is interpreted as a lack of self-worth, not generosity. However, those who put themselves first, who aren't afraid of losing, project strength and independence. This triggers an instinctive attraction, even if she doesn't understand it rationally. The rare man is never forgotten. But there's a hidden danger. Those who don't understand this dynamic end up living in circles of anxiety and neediness. A man who ignores his own worth becomes dependent on her validation, trapped in a cycle of trying to please without ever being truly recognized. This only increases suffering and insecurity. Embracing one's own center is the only way out of this emotional labyrinth, and few have the courage to take this step. Every man has felt the weight of being ignored after showing too much vulnerability or demonstrating excessive attachment. It's as if, by opening his heart too much or revolving the world around her, something in the air shifts. Her interest wanes, her responses grow cold, and the emptiness begins to grow. This experience hurts, but it also reveals a silent pattern. Overgiving, far from creating connection, often drives someone away. The mistake isn't in having feelings, but in revolving your life around them. Feeling is human, but depending on her to feel whole is dangerous. When you make a woman the center of your existence, you lose strength, mystery, and respect. Your energy becomes guided by her reactions, and so you slowly fade away. Balance lies in feeling, but never losing yourself. A man with his own mission, passions, friends, and routine becomes a source of mystery and inspiration. He doesn't depend on external validation because his inner world is already rich and vibrant. His every choice reveals autonomy, and that's magnetic. She realizes that with such a man, there's always something new to discover. True value emerges when you're whole on your own. A woman feels she's facing someone she could lose at any moment. This activates a deep desire for conquest. Fear of loss is one of the most powerful triggers of human desire. When she realizes you're not guaranteed, that you have your own life and don't depend on her, her competitive instinct kicks in. She wants to prove to herself that she's capable of winning over and keeping someone rare. This transforms the relationship dynamic. The fear of losing only exists when something valuable is at stake. When you value yourself, she notices, it's not arrogance, but presence. You know what you have to offer and don't give it away for free. This self-worth is felt in the way you speak, in the choices you make, in your attitude in the face of difficulties. That's where respect is born, and with it, the desire to stay close. The secret is to be whole, not half, waiting for her approval. A complete man doesn't ask permission to exist, nor seek permission to be who he is. He shares his life, but doesn't give it away for fear of being alone. This integrity is rare and powerful, for it reveals that his happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. A person who is whole never begs for love, he simply chooses. Here begins the difference between being just another person and being the only one she wants to pursue. The average man lives to please, expecting approval at every turn. The indispensable man, however, is self-sufficient and therefore becomes irresistible. She feels she is faced with someone impossible to replace. Deep down, every woman desires the man she cannot completely control, and that is what separates the rare from the common. When you stop reacting to her every move, the game changes completely. The power shifts from hers to your own choices. She senses almost instinctively that her provocations no longer have the same effect. It's at this moment that the dynamic reverses, and you're no longer a piece to turn on the board. Control returns to whoever maintains their own axis. She begins to doubt her own power, wondering if she's losing her importance. What was once a certainty becomes insecurity, and she feels the need to invest more to get your attention. This doubt is uncomfortable, but it also awakens the desire to win you back. After all, no one wants to lose what seemed certain. The mystery of having no control over you deeply affects her. A centered man becomes a mirror of her desires and insecurities. Instead of being her satellite, he becomes a universe unto himself. Your stability allows her to see in you everything she wishes she could feel within herself. You inspire, but also challenge. Realizing she can't move you easily, she begins to admire you and, at the same time, question herself. This is where the emotional game deepens. Over time, she invests more energy, seeking your validation, trying to understand what makes you so self-sufficient. Your every action becomes a puzzle to be deciphered. Every silence, a silent provocation. A man who doesn't depend but chooses creates a space of respect and admiration. She realizes she needs to earn your interest, and that's precisely what makes everything more intense and meaningful. And with each test she throws at you, you respond with serenity, never with despair. Your calm shows that you're not threatened, that your peace doesn't depend on her vacillations. This dismantles the pattern of manipulation and transforms the relationship. She feels she's found someone who isn't easily shaken, and it's on this solid ground that respect begins to grow, along with desire. But there's a deeper secret to this process, and only those who understand the nature of female control see the real game. Behind every test lies an unconscious search for someone who inspires confidence and leadership. A woman wants to feel she's with a man who doesn't waver from his own limits. Discovering this secret transforms any relationship, and few see what's truly at stake. Here comes the second, rarely discussed secret. There's a point where a woman, feeling she can't control you, begins to create increasingly intense games. It's an almost unconscious impulse to challenge your limits, test your emotional solidity, and increase the tension. The more unshakable you seem, the more she seeks to find your weak spot. The control that seemed like an advantage now becomes an emotional minefield. She can alternate between passion and coldness, temptations and threats, just to test whether you're truly as independent as you seem. One day she engages you, the next she pulls away, casting doubt in the air. These shifts in attitude aren't always conscious, but they serve to gauge whether your center is real or just a facade. Only the mature understand that they can't react to every fluctuation. That's where many lose their balance. This cycle can be addictive to both. She tries to break your posture, proving that nothing can shake your axis. A silent struggle develops, where every gesture becomes a test and a response. If you engage in this endless dance, you end up trapped in the game, forgetting to truly live. The addiction to control wears you down, creates anxiety, and blocks the possibility of real connection. Only those who stop and observe from the outside perceive the danger. The risk is that a person becomes a prisoner of their own detachment, pushing away even true connections for fear of appearing vulnerable. In an attempt to avoid being controlled, they can build walls so high that no one else can penetrate them. Detachment turns into isolation, and pride prevents any genuine surrender. Loneliness becomes armor, but it also becomes a prison. It's a subtle trap, difficult to spot at first. The line between being irresistible and emotionally untouchable is tenuous, and those who don't realize it may end up alone. There's a nearly invisible line between maintaining your self-worth and never opening up to anyone. The fear of losing control makes many men hide behind coldness, believing that this will earn them respect. But without vulnerability, no relationship deepens. It takes wisdom to see this line. Keep this question in mind. How can you be free without losing the chance for a real connection? There's no easy answer, and perhaps this is the greatest enigma of relationships. Every strong man runs the risk of closing himself off too much, and by protecting his own core, losing something valuable. But ignoring this question is like living on the defensive. In the next few minutes, you'll discover a new path between control and surrender. When she feels she can't control you, she tests your limits more and more. The provocations become more frequent. Small crises appear out of nowhere, and everything becomes a reason to gauge your reaction. These tests aren't just about her. They're a way to discover whether your strength is genuine or just a facade. Only a man who understands this game can maintain his composure without losing respect. Small provocations, jealous outbursts, threats to leave, all to see if you'll weaken. The hidden agenda is simple. She wants to know if you'll stand firm or crumble in the face of chaos. Every emotional outburst, every little game, serves to measure the extent of your confidence. If you react with desperation, you lose value. But if you respond calmly, she realizes she's in the presence of someone rare. The common mistake is to react, explain, and beg for calm. But a real man observes, responds with boundaries, and doesn't engage in the fray. He understands that he doesn't need to justify every move or sacrifice himself to please. His firmness breaks the cycle of manipulation and shows that he knows his own worth. Thus, little by little, she learns to respect these boundaries. True power lies in not reacting. Every time you maintain your poise, she feels respect and desire grow for you. Your self-control is immediately noticeable, and this creates a silent admiration. Even if she doesn't admit it, she feels she's finally found someone worthy of her challenge. Female desire grows in the space between the unpredictable and the secure. You become a reference, not just another option, and that's when the bond begins to strengthen. The secret isn't to never give in, but to know where your non-negotiable lines are. A strong man doesn't need to be rigid all the time, but he never allows anyone to override his values. He knows when to back off, when to advance, and when to simply stop. It's this clarity that defines respect in a relationship. Only those who know and defend their own limits can build something true and lasting. Only then does the game cease to be rigged and become one of admiration. When you maintain your boundaries without closing yourself off, you demonstrate maturity and genuine strength. She realizes she's not dealing with someone easily bent, but with a man who respects himself. The relationship ceases to be a dispute and begins to transform into something deeper. Mutual respect arises when both recognize the other's value. Women don't become addicted to men because they treat them badly, but because they can never predict or control their next move. Mystery, uncertainty, and challenge create a tension that fuels desire. It's not about being cruel, but about being authentically unpredictable. When she feels she never has complete control, her mind remains restless. It's doubt that keeps her interest alive, not submission. Healthy unpredictability is what keeps a man on her mind day and night. It's not about manipulation, but about never being predictable to the point of losing your charm. Small surprises, authentic attitudes, and the ability to change the pace make you unforgettable. She never knows what to expect, and that's what keeps her curiosity alive. Desire thrives where the unexpected exists. When she senses she might lose you, her instincts go into overdrive. She begins to invest more, to give more of herself. The fear of loss is an ancient trigger, awakening deep feelings and more intense attitudes. She strives to remain relevant, to avoid being forgotten in your world. This movement creates a cycle of engagement, where her dedication increases as uncertainty grows. The man who doesn't need her, but chooses to be there, is the one who provokes the most emotional attachment. He's there not out of necessity, but by conscious choice, and this changes the entire dynamic. She feels she needs to earn her place by his side, that nothing is guaranteed. This man's freedom makes every moment together more valuable. True attachment arises when choice is stronger than need. This is the secret fuel of female addiction, the doubt of whether she's truly enough for you. When she's unsure whether she's completely won your heart, her interest never dies. It's this subtle but constant insecurity that keeps the search alive. She investigates every gesture, every word, trying to decipher your feelings. The mystery of your approval creates an almost unbreakable bond, and that's why men who never kneel end up being treated like kings. They command respect not through fear, but through the posture of someone who values themselves above all else. This silent strength is felt in every action, every decision. Female desire feeds on this energy because it senses it's someone unique. In the end, it's the firm man who wins a place in her memory and heart. To be the man who doesn't need anything, you need to build a meaningful life without depending on anyone. This requires brutal honesty with yourself, identifying what moves you, what fulfills you, and which dreams are yours alone. Only those who invest time in themselves, in growth and evolution, discover the power of not being held hostage by any external approval. True independence comes from within. Invest in hobbies, friendships, purpose, and personal growth. Don't put all your energy into a relationship, nor make a woman the center of your universe. Pursue interests that fuel your curiosity and your essence. Strengthen bonds with those who inspire you and push you to evolve. The more fulfilling your life, the more effortlessly irresistible you become. Cultivate passions that don't involve her. It makes you interesting and authentic. When you dedicate yourself to something for the simple pleasure of growing, you create a unique glow that's impossible to replicate. She realizes that your life doesn't depend on her presence for meaning. This autonomy is magnetic because it shows that your value lies not in pleasing, but in being whole. A man passionate about his own journey is never banal. Never compromise your values to please. Maintain your identity, even when the relationship is strained. Being firm in your principles is what separates respected men from forgotten ones. Relationships can challenge your very essence, but it is at these times that your character is tested. Those who compromise their own truth for fear of losing will always lose respect. True love only blossoms where integrity exists. A woman senses when you're complete, and that's what scares and attracts the most. She feels like she can't occupy every space in your life, and this arouses admiration along with desire. Independence makes you rare, uncontrollable, worthy of respect. A complete man doesn't need an audience to exist. It's precisely this self-sufficiency that separates the unforgettable from the ordinary. Being self-sufficient isn't about being cold. It's about not selling your soul to win anyone over. You can be kind, present, and even romantic without ever losing yourself. True power lies in choosing who enters your life, not in begging to be chosen. When you keep your essence intact, each relationship becomes a complement, never a necessity. This is the secret of the free man. But the dilemma remains. How do you open yourself to love without losing your center? It's easy to become closed off in your own world, and it's difficult to find true balance. The risk of surrendering and losing yourself frightens any man who has ever felt the pain of detachment. However, ignoring this question only prolongs the doubt. In the next few minutes, you'll see that a middle ground is possible, but few have the courage to seek it. The secret lies neither in extreme detachment nor in total submission. Life demands maturity to find the balance between freedom and surrender. Those who close themselves off too much lose the chance to experience deep connections. Those who nullify themselves end up forgetting who they are. The real challenge is to discover this point of harmony. It is in this search that a man becomes rare and irresistible. You need to learn to be whole, but carefully choose who deserves to see your vulnerable side. Vulnerability isn't for everyone. It's for those who demonstrate respect, maturity, and a genuine desire to build something solid. When you carefully select who can access your intimacy, you preserve your strength. A man who exposes his heart wisely is never weak. He's selective out of self-love, not fear. The most attractive man is the one who knows how to say no, but also knows how to accept it when it's truly worth it. He doesn't close doors out of pride, nor does he surrender at any cost. His strength lies in his ability to protect his boundaries while simultaneously allowing for true connection. Knowing how to balance firmness and acceptance is what builds lasting admiration. Ultimately, it's this balance that separates the unforgettable from the fleeting. Create clear boundaries, communicate your truth, and only share your life with those who respect these principles. Mutual respect arises when you speak out fearlessly, showing who you truly are. Don't accept less than you deserve, nor settle for superficial relationships. When you demand the best, you attract people who also seek growth. A man who speaks out becomes a role model for her and for himself. This way, you gain respect, desire, and admiration without losing or isolating yourself. Balance makes you strong and at the same time accessible. You don't have to sacrifice your freedom to be loved, nor give up love to remain free. Healthy relationships are built when both partners grow together. The secret is to maintain your balance even in the midst of passion. Now, the time has come to reveal how to close the door on this mystery and achieve the best of both worlds. There's no magic formula, but there are conscious choices that transform the way you relate. A person who knows themselves deeply creates their own rules, and only then can you experience freedom without sacrificing connection. Stay tuned, because the true secret is just a step away from being revealed. Pay attention, because the answer is simpler than you think. Much of what seems complicated can be resolved when you learn to trust yourself. The solution lies in the courage to be authentic, even when faced with the fear of loss. Few dare to live this way, but those who do discover a new world. In the next few minutes, prepare yourself for the challenge that could change everything. For 7 days, practice prioritizing yourself. Fewer messages, more projects, more alone time, less anxiety. Put your phone aside and immerse yourself in activities that truly build you. Use this period to observe where you spend energy, trying to please or seek approval. Small changes will reveal how much more powerful your presence becomes. The challenge begins with self-care, not conquest. Identify every time you feel the need to please or seek approval, and choose not to give in to the urge. Notice how the desire for acceptance can lead you to compromise yourself. Write down these moments and reflect. What truly makes you want to be approved? By resisting the urge, you begin to strengthen your own core. A man's power comes from the decision to respect himself first. When she tests your limits, respond firmly and naturally. Don't react, Don't beg. Don't change your essence. Show, without words, that your peace doesn't depend on anyone's mood or approval. Keep your gaze calm and your voice steady, even in the face of provocation. Your value is revealed precisely in your calm in the face of chaos. Those who remain unshaken gain respect and become unforgettable. Choose a moment to show genuine vulnerability, but only to those who deserve it and respect it. Don't give away your most sensitive side to someone who hasn't yet proven herself. Exposing feelings is a sign of courage, but it should be a privilege granted, not a bargaining chip. A mature man carefully chooses who can access his inner world. This gesture creates a true connection without losing his own strength. Comment: when did you most lose your value? When you gave in too much, or when you closed yourself off too much? Share your experience, because it's in real exchange that learning deepens. Looking back, you realize that balance isn't about never making mistakes, but about adjusting your course. Write in the comments and inspire other men to seek their center. Your story could be someone's turning point. If this video resonates with you, like and subscribe. The man who doesn't need approval is the one everyone wants to conquer, but only a few will have the courage to truly meet. Your journey begins when you choose to be a priority, not an exception. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next secrets. And remember, those who master their own worth become unforgettable to those who matter.